I recently travelled in BA's older version of Club World. How was my experience? Watch this video to find out. Our aircraft was an older 777-200, 4 rows of seats in business class with a 242 configuration. Our flight was from Vancouver to London Gatwick. Checking in took about 10 minutes and getting through security was about 15 minutes. From security to our gate took around 10 minutes. However, it is quite a large airport, and when we flew in 3 weeks before, we must have arrived at the furthest most gate from the baggage reclaim. It seemed to take ages to get between the two. I did notice a few different features at this airport, one being this aquarium. We were at the airport in June 2024, and unfortunately the business class lounge had been refurbished. So they had created this sort of temporary lounge area, as you can see. Obviously it wasn't a proper lounge, so there was limited food, the service was still good, and you still had a nice view of the runway. And then it was time for us to board. Once on board, as I mentioned, this was the old Club World. My wife was sat in an aisle seat and I was sat in one of the middle seats. If you've travelled on BA's new Club World suites, then you'll see a big difference here. You can see the aisle seat is quite exposed. And from my seat in the middle of the row, you can see this gentleman just in the grey, just how close you are to the person beside you. Between the aisle seat and the first of the middle seats, you do have this divider. We couldn't get this to stay up. However, then we noticed there's an actual button at the top, just at the right hand side of the divider, that you push, and it's electronic. Something people always complain about in this seat is the lack of storage. This small compartment here is the only storage you have. The infotainment system, push the button and the screen pops out. This is an older sort of setup, but I mean, it does serve its purpose. It did work. As far as using the infotainment system, I mean, it worked okay. I watched a movie on the flight. However, there were quite a few occasions when you had to tap the screen more than once to change the screen. There's also a remote control for the infotainment system, as well as a USB-A and a connection point for the BA headphones. There's also a plug socket for charging electrical devices. The seat is adjusted using these buttons. I had no issues with my seat operation during the flight. We also have an adjustable armrest, which was comfortable enough, even though it was a bit wobbly. The headphones supplied weren't the best in terms of noise cancelling. They're actually the same headphones you get in the newer Club World suites. Overhead, there are no individual air vents, just individual reading lights. There is an additional small reading light at your seat. First challenge is finding it, and the second is getting it to work. You have to pull down the small catch and then you have to slide it. Here you can see the footrest in the upright position. You can lower the footrest, and it does have 2 different positions. And obviously the footrest then forms the lower half of your bed. The tray table is located just below the infotainment system. The table itself was fully adjustable, however I did find it was quite flimsy when I tried to put my laptop on it. Around 90 minutes into the flight, the food service started. Our flight left Vancouver just after 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Menu was a dinner option and also breakfast. Although this wasn't an overnight flight, we were arriving back in the UK just after 8 a.m. Hence the reason for the breakfast option. Along with a small salad, we had 3 options for starters, 3 options for mains, also 2 or 3 options for dessert, and there's also a selection of cheese and crackers. Plenty of choice from the bar. You had cocktails, a couple of mocktails, a wide range of spirits, beers and soft drinks. For my starter, I chose the spicy roasted corn soup. I do like spicy food, and I have to say the taste was really nice. If you look at the bowl of soup, you can see what I mean about the unstable table that is leaning slightly. For my main, I chose the fillet of lingcod, which once again was really nice. Fish was well cooked, very enjoyable. And to finish off, I chose the fresh fruit salad. Overall, for the food and service, no complaints from me. Moving on to the amenity kit, it is provided by the White Company. On the way out, we were given one in white, on the way back in black. I don't know if they offer any more colours, maybe you could comment below. As far as the contents of the amenity kit, they were fairly standard. Pen, eye mask, socks, toothbrush, toothpaste, lip balm, etc. The toilet was fairly standard as well, although there were some White Company products available for use. When you board the aircraft, you'll find your pillow on your seat, as well as this bag supplied by the White Company, which contains your mattress topper and your blanket. Here you can see there's no real partition between you and the person next to you, so if you are travelling on your own, something to consider, and maybe try and get a window seat or an aisle seat, avoiding these double seats in the middle. I chose the bacon, egg and cheese ciabatta for breakfast. I have to say, I didn't enjoy this one. And that was us back in Gatwick, and we were actually transferring over to London Heathrow. Catch a BA Club Europe flight back to Aberdeen. I will be posting a flight review for that flight, so please keep an eye out for that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please consider hitting a like and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you in the next one.